Hey everyone, and welcome back to Be a Warrior podcast. I am Angie, and I am so grateful that you are here. Now, this week we are going to kind of jump into a little bit of the reality that sets in with someone like me. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know this is more about my personal experience, with the hope that something I can tell you will bring light to your situation. And you may or may not be an amputee, and that's cool. I'm hoping to inspire and motivate and give hope to others, empowering others to go and live really great, healthy lives. I know what it feels like to be bedridden for 5 years and to deal with a lot of pain and pain management and taking medication and then getting off the medication, deciding to amputate, the whole 9 yards since 2013 when my life took a huge turn. And so that's what this podcast is about. Now, last week, I read a little passage from How to Walk. This book is by Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a monk with a lot of great writings on meditative lifestyle. And I actually found this book in Miraval in Tucson in their bookstore, and had to get it partially because I love making jokes about the fact that I'm an amputee, and the book says How to Walk. And I took it literally, like how to walk, perfect for those of us struggling just with walking. Now, I haven't struggled really with walking, but every day I have to think hard about it. I have to put one foot in front of the other. And because it isn't my own leg, I actually think about it. Kind of like how you probably, if you have two legs, you don't think about your breathing or your walking. It isn't that way with us. With amputees, I can drive to the store, and when I jump out of my car, I have to realign my body with a mechanical device and make sure that I don't stumble and fall the first 5 steps. So walking is a daily mental event. And I got a really great comment I wanted to address today from one of you that I talk with. And I'm so grateful for this person because I am all at an age now in my life that I love constructive criticism. Not like negative. When you hear criticism, you always think negative. But when someone gives me feedback, let's call it feedback, I try to see what it is that I could do to change that. So anyway, getting on with this, the interesting fact was when I read last week about taking time to just think about every movement when you walk to get used to your prosthetic, the comment that came back was, but sometimes I'm with my partner, or I'm with a friend, I'm with my family member, I'm with whatever, and I want to talk with them. Do you never talk with the person you're walking with? That was a really great question because, again, like eating, everything in moderation. As an amputee, when I was first learning to walk, if I went out for a walk, there was no leisure time. It was not leisure activity. Number one, we're in Arizona. It's always freaking hot. And two, you're constantly, as an amputee, watching your steps, making sure you don't trip and fall, watching where you're walking. Like, I find myself looking down more than anything at the steps coming in front of me, because we might hit a crack in the curb, or I might go over a boulder or a rock, or hit pebbles that have been thrown out from the landscaping, or cobblestone. I mean, the terrain can change, and when that terrain changes, you have to make sure your toe has lifted enough. And so, I mean, people with 2 legs toe against uneven terrain and fall. So imagine if you can't even tell that you're coming up to that, and you have a prosthetic leg that doesn't feel anything. So my thought back to that question was, there is a time and place to really embrace life and living life and being with family and talking with family. And if you can talk and walk, then all the power to you. You should enjoy those moments for sure. But also, there are times when you're going to get out and walk for the sake of the exercise and getting better at using your prosthetic. And that is an educational journey. It is remote learning, or I should say that it's more learning how to get your muscles in the right place, doing the right thing in the right moment, muscle memory then takes place. So yes, you should go out and talk and enjoy life. But there are times when we really need to stop and assess exactly what we're doing before we do something that hurts our back or our other joints. And when we walk lopsided or wonky, we can screw things up. So everything in moderation. But when you are out, and we talked about last week, meditating as you walk, that is being in the moment, breathing in, breathing out, focusing on the mechanics of it. Yes, there's a time and place for that. And when you get tired, there is a time to stop. You don't keep practicing something when you get tired, because guess what? When you practice something when you're tired, you get lazy. And when you go lazy, you start memorizing lazy movements and your muscles start getting accustomed to that. So just be cautious and careful. I am pretty headstrong and I wanted to learn right away. So I always went out and I tell my husband, you can come with, but I'm not going to talk. I prefaced it. Like, I'm not out for a leisurely evening stroll after dinner. I'm out trying to figure out my leg. And the only way I could learn my leg is to walk distances, because within just the ranch style house I have, walking down the sidewalk or the pathway, the hallway here, I would have like 7 different steps. So you can't get used to any one step. And sometimes you go wide, and sometimes your feet spread apart. Sometimes they get overlapping and they go too close. And then sometimes you waddle because you hit something funny. So the only way I knew was to go for longer distances around the block. Lots of steps in, and lots of steps, maybe 100 steps, 200 steps, 1,000 steps. Only about 60% was hit the way you felt comfortable hitting, and the rest were training steps, so to speak. So yes, balance yourself. Take time. If you want to learn to walk, then when you walk, you should be focused on the walk. If you are still learning how to walk, trust me, now that I have learned, which I did rapidly with less than a year, I'd say in the first couple months, I really learned to walk and worked on sustainability and longevity in my walks. But then once you get past that, yeah, I have conversations. I even text and walk, which is horrible because I have fallen off a curb once with 2 legs. So that was with 2 legs. But yeah, you've got to be able to know that this is just a moment in time. And then occasionally I will find myself doing something weird with my steps, and I will reassess by getting focused again for a moment or two to find out why I might be doing it. Am I hurting? Is something pinching? Is it in wrong? Is my toe pointed out a little too much? Put my toe pointed in. And then I kind of just make some adjustments, and then I'm back to conversing with my family. We're out for dinner, or we're walking to the restaurant, we're going through the parking lot, whatever. So it doesn't have to be all the time, is what I'm getting at. Now, the real thing I wanted to address today really deals with the fact that I'm a type A person. If you haven't followed me, you'll know that I'm constantly going. And I will tell you with all due honesty here that for the last 3 weeks, I've done practically nothing. And there's been reasons. It's not because I've just given up. It's not that I lack motivation, but that is definitely cusping in my heart and in my mind right now, and it drives me absolutely batty, because you start getting to a comfort zone, and we're spiking in heat again. So I thought I was going to get out and start walking every day with my dogs, and the heat spiked. But I also kind of tweaked my back. Can I just tell you that being an amputee is so much easier than hurting your back or another big muscle group. I'm struggling with sleeping. I'm struggling just bending over to get my dogs bowls to feed them. God help me in the morning trying to put my leg on, because I am a skin fit, so it takes a lot of downward force pull, bending over my leg and pulling up on my leg, which is pulling up with that back hip and back. It's like you just have to succumb to the pain until you get it in there. So I've been dealing with that for about 4, 5, 6 days. It started, I think, last week when I was making a project for my kiddo, and I spent 5 hours standing over my bed, which was not high enough, and reaching. And when you reach, you kind of step into one leg, and then your other opposite back, which is my prosthetic leg, that back, is doing a lot of holding up the whole body. And I really hurt that. I thought I was good. Then I went golfing. And I really think the combination of a weak back and then trying to golf and trying to keep my swing together, I think I just totally just tanked. And then I'm still dealing with the nose thing. You can kind of hear a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was sick. So between being sick and not having the energy and now my back, I haven't been to the gym. I won't even go to the horses, one, because I'm hot, and two, I can't get boots and jeans off and on with my back the way it feels. So I've just been like, blah. And I hate this feeling. If you know me, you know I like to be active. So I'm starting to feel a little blah about myself. But I wanted to be honest with the fact that it happens to everybody. And I am really struggling with it. And yet part of me secretly isn't. Like, if I could keep my toned body and do what I'm doing right now and spending a lot of time with my dogs and at home and decorating a little bit here and there and making gifts for the holidays that are coming up, I would be very content. But that isn't how life is. And I know that I'm able to maintain the muscle that I have for a little bit longer, but I really need to get back to the gym. And I miss my horses so badly. So, and they're actually the ones that would help me get through the way I feel, because that is one thing I'm starting up. For those of you that are more local to me, hopefully by November 1st, our weather will cool off, and I am planning to start my equine therapy business. So that's on the cusp, and if you are interested, you can reach out to me. The equine therapy is so very important, and that's actually where I should be right now to get my mental center going back again, and to find a peace in where I'm at, because in this part of my journey where I'm not going and proving things to myself and conquering the world and setting goals and smashing them, I feel like I'm just sitting back and we'll call it taking in life and enjoying life right now, smelling the roses. I don't get to do that very often because I feel like I'm constantly setting goals and trying to hit those goals. And if it's not one thing, it's the next thing, it's the next thing, it's the next thing. And now we're coming into the holidays, and my goal usually is to have amazing parties here for college students and family and friends. And so I know that my fall is going to start ramping up here. With that being said, though, it's okay. And I have to remind myself this. So like I always say, I'm speaking to the choir here. So when I say these things, I'm talking to myself. And we have to be okay with the seasons that put us down for a little while. It's a time to goal set. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to find out who we are and what we're made of. And like today, I had a moment where I was like, you know, I'm not motivated. And when you have back pain especially, that can really just, one, it makes you not sleep well. So then you're off edge a little bit, right? When you don't sleep, you're not feeling great during the day. And then when you're sitting around, you're trying to find a comfortable spot. And that's what I've done. And when I found a comfortable spot, I have found that I can sit for several hours and not move because I'm finally comfortable. And so I have to be okay with that. I'm not, but I'm trying. And what I did realize to myself is, you're going to find motivation. You're going to get going again. This is a season. You know this is a season. It will pass. You can't do anything except hurt yourself worse if you try to go do something and you hurt your back more. I'm starting to feel it letting up some, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to getting back to the horses. And for me, if you're interested in the equine therapy side of it, there is nothing more eye-opening and circumstance revealing than being around a horse. If you can find it in your heart to sit quietly and just enjoy the moment that you're with a horse, whether you're just brushing it. I talk to my horses all the time. I swear she understands. Sakari understands what I'm saying to her. And she knows my tone. She knows my walk to her. She knows when I'm excited to see her. She knows when I'm hurting. She knows when things are tough. And she responds accordingly. So if I come in preoccupied, frustrated, angry about something, or short-tempered, or I know I'm short on time, so I'm quicker, she tends to not want to be near me. She stays a distance. The moment, though, that I release my time frame, my agenda, and embrace the moment of being there with her, that's when she comes over and she starts to nuzzle me. She starts to do goofy things like trying to grab my hats off my head or my bandana out of my pocket. She loves getting her treats. And then she knows if I'm relaxed and I'm just there to help her, she knows a good butt scratch will do wonders. And when she needs that itch under her mane, that's what I catch for her. And it is all wonderful and peaceful. And then once I'm there, even if I thought, well, I only have a little bit of time, I find myself elongating it by over an hour or even 2 hours. There's times where all of a sudden I've realized it's been 4.5 hours that I've been sitting outside in the wintertime, not in the summer. It's really hard to be out in that dirt and in the sun. And they are extremely hot hot animals. So we don't spend that much time during the summer standing outside with them. But the cool air is coming. And that means there'll be more time to sit and relax and be present with them. And that's what I want to share with those people that live near me. And hopefully we can get something going. So, all right. So I'm struggling, and it's okay. I am going to start putting together a motivational group that if you are interested in somehow getting through a virtual race with me, I am looking into my next one to get myself out and moving, especially with the weather changing. And everyone, no matter where you're listening, Arizona is hot going cooler. And in the Midwest and the East, you guys are kind of cool to colder now, and night times especially. I want to get something in before it becomes wintry. So we are in the prime times right now to do something together virtually, and I'm looking to see who's interested. I usually find a race that has a really cool medal, so I'm still on the hunt for that. And I am looking to get it done September, October. We have some travel coming up, and that brings me to the fact that next week I may not be on. So if you do not see a podcast next week, my apologies. I may be hitching a ride with my husband out to Boston area, and I'm very excited about it. So I hope you're finding time to walk. I hope you're finding time to smell the roses. And if you're like me and you're hurting right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, if you're hurting right now and you can't seem to muster the energy, give yourself a little time and a little grace to bounce back. Make sure you're fueling your body correctly with foods. Make sure you're not eating your stress, because that can happen, especially if you're stuck at home like I've been, kind of keeping myself at home and very stagnant. And when you watch TV or movies, you tend to get the munchies and you tend to eat. You don't need to compound not getting out and being active with added food and calories. So I'm here to tell you, don't do that. But just remember that this is going to pass. You're going to get active again. You're going to be out and moving again. And you're going to be wishing you had some free time to sit and relax. But until then, you just have to figure it out. Set some goals for yourself. Start dreaming of the future. This is a great time with the holidays coming up. This is a nice time to actually kind of surf the web for things to decorate with, for your cards for Christmas, for your gifts that you need to get for people. Don't wait till the last minute when you might actually be active and moving around. And I'm planning when it starts to cool off enough, we're getting out and hiking. So I'm using this time to shop and to plan and to organize and to just dream. And as much as there are times when it really frustrates me and I really want to go, like this morning, I knew last night, I set myself a goal. I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk with the dogs. And I woke up this morning, thought I had slept well, I hadn't. and I tried to put my leg on and I was in excruciating pain, and I thought, well, walking doesn't help. I do a little bit around my house and then I'm sitting back on the couch again. And so just having to rest that spazzed out muscle. But soon I will be back on my feet the way I want to be, and I know you will too. Just remember to keep setting your goals, to stay positive, to have grace with yourself, which just means forgive yourself. This is just a temporary thing. Now, if you're years into it, I would say it's not temporary anymore. Now you've created a bad habit. But for me, if you're in my boat where it's just been a few weeks, which for me feels like a lifetime, just know that one thing leads to another. And for some good reason, this resting period for me right now in this stage of my life is going to be an okay thing, which will probably project me forward further than I'd ever hoped. Maybe it's prepping me for starting this equine therapy. I don't know. So my body must be telling me it's time to shut down, recharge the engines, have some grace with myself, get in a mental space that's really positive and really good, start to dream of the future, start planning for the future, get your ducks in a row, and be ready to take it on head on when those issues and complications have subsided. So call to action, you know what it is. Start planning, start prepping, start goal setting. I have certain goal sets for losing some weight, walking daily or hiking daily, and making sure I get to the gym like 4 to 5 times a week, and keeping active. And I do also want to add in about how I eat and doing some meal prep again. So now that my boy is back at school and the other one is getting ready to find the job of his life and get out of an apartment, now I'm starting to think about how to cook for 2. And that is a weird concept. So until then, we will just keep pushing forward and enjoying life as we have it and what it looks like right now. And this part of the journey, I just have to hold on tight and prepare for my future. So I hope you're doing the same thing. Remember, you're warriors, and warriors will have battles and times to prepare themselves for battle. So prepare yourself now for the battles ahead, for the times to rise ahead, and to find what you are going to be amazing at, and goal set the heck out of life. Find things that make you feel passionate and excited. And you know, one of the things that I talked about a long time ago on one of my first podcasts is don't forget to play. Playing is so underrated for adults. Like, once you were a kid, remember you played, that's all you did, that's how you learned. And guess what? You can play as an adult. I get out on my scooters. Some are electric, some are manual. And I get out and I do silly things like that. I have a jump rope. I bought one of those silly balls that you put on one leg and you swing it around and you jump the other foot up. I'm going to see if that works as an amputee. It may not. I may have fallen on my face, but we're going to try it and have fun with it. I have really cool balance boards that let me just kind of play like I'm on a surfboard. So I'm going to start getting out and doing a little bit more of that. And, you know, hiking is playtime, and fishing is playtime. Get out and enjoy the world, whatever that looks to you, like whatever it looks like for you and where you're at in your journey and your weather. And be safe, but get out there and live life and enjoy it. Remember to play, because playing is so good for our souls. You guys are amazing. I'm so glad you're here. Please click on the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my YouTube or my podcast, and please share it for anybody that you think needs motivation, or anybody that's in the same boat I'm at as an amputee, or if you just know someone that just is struggling. Share this podcast with them so that we can get the word out to be more positive, live healthy lives, and just be warriors together. And until next time, and as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.